Welcome to Charity Therapy, the podcast where we explore the ups and downs of the nonprofit sector and answer your burning questions. I'm your host, Jess Birkin, owner of Birkin Law Office, and I'm excited you're here. Imagine hanging out with me and my super smart, funny nonprofit expert pals. You get to ask them anything about your nitty-gritty nonprofit life and get their wisdom for free. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just strapping on your nonprofit boots, we're here to share stories and remind you you're not alone on this journey. So get ready to join the conversation and bring me the tough questions. I ain't scared. Ready to rock? Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to this episode of Charity Therapy. It's me, Jess, and I'm here with Megan.
Hi, Jess. How are you?
I'm good. We're recording on a Friday, and
We are.
I'm ready for the weekend, baby.
Same. I just had the cutest little coffee shop interaction earlier that I sold my friend's little mug. You can't see this. This is an audio medium, but it's this cute little handmade coffee pot, and it's in the
Coffee
90
pot?
coffee
You're
mug.
calling that
It's
a
Friday.
coffee pot? It's a mug with no handle.
It
It's
sure
a
is
cup.
a mug. It's a cup.
It's a ceramic cup, people. Don't
Yep.
listen to Megan. She
I don't
doesn't
know
know
what
what
I'm saying.
she's saying
I don't know
on
what I'm saying.
Friday afternoon.
How dare you ask me to say words in an order that makes sense on a podcast?
I told you we shouldn't record right now. You guys, before we started, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if we're going to do it.
Clearly, my 3 cups of coffee is not helping. All that to
So
be
it's
said,
a ceramic cup.
it's a ceramic
and it's
cup
cute.
with the 90s Dixie print on it, where the Dixie cups had that blue and purple little wavy pattern on it, abstract pattern.
Yes.
Every
Yes.
kid in the 90s who used to get their little cup of water at school and the little Dixie cups knows what it is. And it was funny because there's a generational divide at the coffee shop when I went to go fill it up of the slightly older people were like, oh my gosh, I love your mug, because we all had our school nostalgia moment.
And other people were like, that's basic.
Yeah, the Gen
What's
Zers
that?
were like, what do you mean? I don't know what that is. I don't care. Yeah.
Just looks like teal and purple
Yes.
sloppy paint.
Yes.
Why?
And I'm like, oh yes, I can tell who went to a roller rink in 1999 and who did not.
Yes. Always
100%.
root beer. Root
Right?
beer.
Always root beer.
In the white cup with the teal and purple
Mhm.
swooshy paint lines.
And at least at the
And
roller rink that we went to, the root beer was always kind of sad. They didn't put enough syrup in or something. So it was kind of a pale, sad root beer in the fountain.
No shade to Albertville's roller rink.
It was actually Monticello. So the Monticello roller rink.
Monticello, your roller rink root beer sucks.
Yep.
Get it together.
Yep. Elberville's
probably
not
not
big
even
enough
there
for a roller
anymore.
rink. Oh, I'm sure it's not. Although there's now, roller rink is coming back. There's one in Burnsville that people go to. It's very funny.
All right. So I told you I was too tired, and you better give me an episode that I can rant so I can
Don't worry.
pull
We can make this
from
one kind of
deep
spicy.
within to get the energy to be vibrant on this podcast. So what are we doing?
I got you. Before we get into the slightly ranty question, I have a question for you. So, can you tell us what an exempt purpose really is to the IRS and why it matters?
Well, the exempt purpose statement is it's just a gross version of your mission,
Mhm.
basically. Like when we do articles of incorporation for a new nonprofit, it's tell me your mission, tell me your vision, tell me your beautiful marketing statements. And then I just take that and mash that up with some IRS jargon that they like to see. And then we call that your exempt purpose.
Yeah. Why do they like to see it, though?
Raison d'etre. It's the worst French accent ever. It's your reason for being. It's why you exist. It's the thing you do that justifies you not paying income tax.
Yeah. It all hinges on the IRS being yeah, that's a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I have to say, as soon as you said that, in my mind, I was picturing Lumiere from The Beauty and the Beast in his terrible French accent. So
Be a guest. Be a
Exactly.
guest. Okay. All right.
actually, that fits in really well with this question. So let's just jump right into it.
Okay, let's go.
Listener writes in and says, I have a bit of a unique situation. I'm a small business coach, and one of my clients came to me with this question, but I know I'm not the right person to answer it. This client owns an old building on a historic main street in his small town, and he wants to restore it. The building is an old hotel, so he's planning to restore it and eventually rent it out on Airbnb or VRBO. There are lots of people and small businesses in this town that want to donate to help with the restoration, but he's not sure the best way to do this. Can he start a nonprofit to accept all these donations to restore the building and then close the nonprofit once the restoration is complete? Or I was thinking that maybe the nonprofit could own the building and pay for all the restoration, repairs, property taxes, etc., and he just rents the building from his nonprofit. He's got a good opportunity here, but I don't want him to get into trouble either. Y'all can't see Jess is like vibrating.
If you are listening to this and going, that's a great idea, I should do that, get out. Get out right now, you fraudster. Okay, here's the thing. This is why entrepreneurs starting nonprofits are such interesting clients to work with, because they come up with all of these ideas that are basically, they seem really good, except for they're like all tax fraud. I wrote a book. What if we had a nonprofit whose mission was to buy my book and distribute it for free to schools? Oh, yeah. Okay.
See, and this gets back to our little initial question up top, that exempt purpose. If your exempt purpose is fix this building so that I can turn it into a profitable business for myself, like that's not charitable. The IRS is not going to be like, yes, you deserve not to pay income tax on that activity. Okay. Break it down.
I'm so snarky right now. Here's the thing. Let's talk this through. Okay. I was really concerned in the beginning of this question. I was like, small business coach, why are we here? Okay. So the entrepreneur owns the building right now.
Yep.
It's historic Main Street, wants to restore it. That sounds to me like it's a historic building. That's cool. I love that for you. Mm-hmm. Old hotel, love it. Yes, let's bring it back. Let's do it. Business idea to rent it out as an Airbnb. Genius. Love that. There's one of those in Duluth. It's awesome. My friends stay there all the time. Okay, people in town want to help you with this. They are like, yes, please restore the old hotel. What can we do? I love that too. That's amazing. Yay. Can you just start a nonprofit for the purpose of funneling people's donations into a charity and then spitting them out the other side for your business to profit from? That's where the problem comes in. This is where the issue is.
Big red flashing arrow right there. That's the problem.
Right. It's not a tax exempt purpose. That's what Meghan was saying. The IRS is not going to be like, you know what would be great is if your business got free money and everybody else took a tax deduction. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. That's called tax fraud. And you can't do that way. So that's just is what it is. I'm going to put in the parking lot, how could we get this done? Because I think that's important to talk about too. But I want to get into this other one. I was thinking maybe the nonprofit could own the building and then could pay for all the restoration and repairs. And then I'll just rent from the nonprofit. No. Okay. So here's the thing. This is when people come in and they're like, I'm going to buy this property and then I'm going to donate it to the nonprofit so like we can have a horse rescue or whatever it is. What I always try and explain to people is that if you use your money to buy this land, this building, and then you donate it to the nonprofit, you're not getting it back. You're not getting it back without paying fair market value. So if that building value goes up, you're going to pay the new fair market price. If the value of the land for your horse rescue increases, there's not going to be like some discount because you gave it to them in the first place. You will have to get an appraisal and prove that you paid the same amount as any random stranger who came and bought the property. That feels bad to most people, and that's where I convince them, no, don't do that. Because what they really want is to keep their asset. which is their property. And a lot of times people are coming in, they're like, I've got 100 acres and I could just lop off 10 and give it to the non. Well, okay. So that's just a bad plan because you already own this building and it's yours. And when you donate it, now it's a charitable asset. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the community. If you're cool with that and you want to give it to the town, sure. But you don't get to transfer the property to the nonprofit, take a tax deduction probably on the way, and then also run your business out of the nonprofit. Theoretically, there's ways you could structure it where like you maybe could get it done. Like if you had nothing to do with the nonprofit, you're in no way related to the nonprofit. If the nonprofit then rented to you and you paid fair market rent, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. It's not a good plan.
This is one of those where it's going to make your life way more complicated. Even if there is a way to do it like legally, it's not worth the effort that you'll go through in order to make it happen.
And the other thing is, what are the optics on? This is a small town. Even if this is what I say to clients all the time, even if we can cobble together and like work all the loopholes and sort of bend over backwards to like make it fit all the rules, which probably could be done in some fashion, it's going to look scammy. And people in town are going to be like, what is that guy all about? That feels shady, right? And so it's not worth the social capital you lose by seeming like you're pulling some scam, right? The Facebook comments aren't worth it.
Right.
Usually. So if it's a historic building, one thing I would say to be like, how could you do these things? Perhaps it could be registered as a historic place. And maybe there's a way to get money for the restoration of the building. And maybe there's a way to partner with the historical society for the rehabilitation of the building. Maybe there is another group that folks could donate to for the rehab of the facility because it's preserving the historic nature and that's not, maybe that's benefiting you, but maybe, I don't know, you're going to need to talk to a lawyer. Maybe there's some way that through historic preservation that you could fund it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Talk to your lawyer. Maybe these folks don't care if it's a nonprofit. Have we thought of that? Because you're assuming you have to have a nonprofit. And I see this all the time. You're assuming that because people want to support you, that it needs to be a nonprofit. That may not be the case. What else could you do, right? People in the town want to support this. Well, what does that look like? Maybe you're doing a Kickstarter. Maybe you're setting up ways where, hey, if you contribute to the restoration at this level, you get X number of nights at the Airbnb. You get to attend the private tour. You get blah, blah, this doesn't have to be a nonprofit thing. Yeah. People can still invest in your business. Think about all that. If you don't know what Kickstarter is, go Google it right now, because there are tons of small businesses that get started with people just want to support this cool thing coming into the world. There is no charitable aspect, and you can completely get things done that way. And you don't have to start a nonprofit, possibly commit tax fraud, possibly risk getting penalties from the IRS or just looking shady to all your neighbors. There's other ways to get to this. And I'm just like, let's just not. Let's exercise some nonprofit birth control here.
Absolutely. This is one where, just to bring it back to the actual person, it's really clear how this happens, where it's like, oh, the town wants this. Individual people in the town or the neighboring businesses, they consider it a public good to not have what is probably an eyesore on their main street and instead have a nice, beautifully restored building. That doesn't necessarily mean it's charitable, but you have the community backing. And so it feels like, this is a community-led or community-supported move. So therefore, it's a public good, but it's still a private business that you're going to make money from. So I can like absolutely see how you get there without thinking you're committing tax fraud, right? You're thinking, no, people do want to support this. This is a benefit to everybody. This is something that people want.
But
I do have good intentions, but you're a taxpayer. So it's one of those where it's like, okay, yes, super great that you have the support, super great that you have the backing from your community, that the second you get the IRS involved, it's no longer just about the people and the intentions. It's about literally, what is your charitable purpose? Why do you deserve to not pay income tax? And helping set up your business is not a charitable purpose at the end of the day.
Yeah. My head just starts to fill up with ideas, right? Like, do a Kickstarter, and for the individual people you support at this level, you get invited to our grand opening party, and you have it catered, and you invite everybody, and you say thank you and amazing. Contribute at this higher level, and you get 2 free nights at the Airbnb to use between when opening and 2028, whatever. And you're saying small businesses want to help. Well, great. You know what small businesses want? Advertising.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you do some deals with them where they're getting free advertising by supporting you, and you agree that you're going to you're going to do like a little store in the lobby for the little trinket shop in town, or you're going to supply your Airbnb with their soap for 2 years, or, whatever. I don't know. Get creative.
Absolutely.
Get out of this. It's going to be it's not charity. It's a business. But you can be creative with your business.
All of these options are easier than starting a nonprofit. So,
oh my God, yes.
That's the other piece of it. Even if it was doable and it could be charitable and it could work, it's a lot of work to do this just for this purpose. There's so many ways to get this done, and it's a few clicks of a mouse online to put up a Kickstarter.
Versus clicking, folks.
Absolutely. Versus going through all the agony of forming a new corporation and finding a board and, getting your tax exempt status and all of the process that it takes to start a nonprofit. And living with
the 10 billion regulations that come with having a nonprofit. You will hate your life. Don't do it. Just don't do it. And if we're talking like you have business owners who want to like give you $100,000 and there's really no advertising deal that's going to like make up for that, well, great. Go talk to your local business attorney about, do you want to offer shares and make this hotel into an S Corp or an LLC and have literal investors in your business? Because this is a business and you're allowed to do that, whereas nonprofits aren't. So anyway, rant over. Don't do it.
Yeah. I got a couple takeaways for this whole rant here. First, if you are a very entrepreneurial, like business-minded, for-profit business owner, and you start coming up with a win-win solution that has to do with a nonprofit, like hit the brakes.
Quote, unquote.
Like, yeah, win-win for who? Hit the brakes. We see this a lot. It's may not have bad intentions, but it is often not allowed under nonprofit rules. So
Come see me before you get too far down the road.
Yeah. Do not be starting a nonprofit just because it'll make your business work. Okay. Secondly, even if you can start a nonprofit along with your business, for all nonprofits, we have to worry about optics. We are dealing with donated funds. We are dealing with people's hopes and dreams about what a nonprofit really is. And if it looks funny, even if it is all set up correctly, that matters. And you're going to deal with the PR problems of having something that could look shady or questionable. And lastly, if you have community support for something that benefits more than just you and your business, that's awesome. And it doesn't mean that you need a nonprofit in order to engage the community or receive that support. There are other ways to do things beyond just starting a charity, especially when it is not a charitable purpose that you are trying to get done here. So get creative outside of the nonprofit sector to help engage the community that wants to support your efforts.
Love it. Love it. Listen, folks, if you're trying to restore an old hotel and think you should start a nonprofit to fund
there's so many of those out there, I'm sure there's like hundreds of people who own an old historic hotel right now.
You need to share this episode with those friends of yours who are doing that so they can hear what a terrible idea that is. Leave us a rating, subscribe in your podcast app. It helps people find the show. If you have a wild story like this to share, bring it. Bring it in. We will keep it anonymous. Send me a note online, charitytherapy.show. And as always, thanks for listening.